Now it is time to read another chapter of Swami Anand Arun's book, Lone Seeker, Many Masters, and it is chapter 30 now, and it's about Suvadra Mata. Suvadra Mata. Although there are many beautiful places on earth, for the seekers of truth, the Himalayas are peerless. Especially the area of Garhwal in northern India, with the fresh waters of the Ganga, Yamuna, Alaknanda and Mandakini, is unmatched in its purity. The entire range vibrates with meditative energy. I have been visiting the Garhwal Himalayas at least once every year since 1981, and since 1995 I've also been regularly conducting meditation camps in the area. Each time I visit a place, I encounter some interesting yogis there. Of course, not everyone in an ochre robe is a genuine seeker. There are also runaway criminals and the lazy ones who are in the Himalayas to escape responsibilities. But every once in a while I have stumbled upon very advanced seekers. The presence of such a meditator in itself is very healing and uplifting. These seekers are, by nature, very rare. But it is even more rare to come across a genuine female saint in the Himalayas. Our social construct discourages women from taking sannyas or devoting their lives to the search for truth. But I consider myself fortunate to have met a few women in the Garhwal Himalayas who are real seekers of truth. One of them is Suvadra Mata. Suvadra Mata was born in Gujarat, but the love of the Himalayas eventually brought her to a place called Tapoban, which is situated at an altitude of 14,640 feet over Gomukh. From Tapoban springs the little stream of water, the source of the Bhagirathi river, which later turns into the Ganga. Tapoban is snow-clad throughout the year, and people can visit the place only during the warm summer months. A few courageous yogis are in silent meditation throughout the year in the caves around Tapoban. The Lal Baba ashram of Bodhisattva, 4 kilometers below Gomukh, provides the seekers with their yearly supply of food. Gangotri, at the altitude of 10,300 feet, can be commuted to via off-road vehicles during the months of summer. Gomukh is a day's walk further ahead, and its height is 12,800 feet. Tapoban is further up, approximately 2,000 feet above Gomukh. Despite the allure, it is not easy to reach Tapoban, let alone meditate there. I find it incredible that a lone woman lived and meditated in those secluded mountains and under harsh conditions for years. Although my destination was Tapoban, difficult roads and adverse weather prevented me from traveling beyond Gomukh. But the moment I stepped into Bodhisattva, I was filled with overwhelming joy. I forgot all about the world, and my mind settled in joyous calm effortlessly. At Gomukh, I met a gracious Japanese yogi. He and his disciples had set up a few tents and had been practicing arduous meditation in the area. I learned that they spent 4 months every year meditating at Gomukh. After years of practice, he had achieved the ability to levitate at will. He showed me a photo album with various pictures of him in his levitating posture. The time I spent with this Japanese yogi and his young Japanese disciples at Gomukh is unforgettable. I couldn't reach Tapoban to meet Suvadra Mata and had to return to Kathmandu a little sad. But to my surprise, I met her at the Shigapuri Baba ashram at Mrigastali, Kathmandu, a few months later. She had come to Kathmandu to have a darshan of the Pashupatinath temple along with Dr. Sanjaya Shah, who was the head of the hospital run by the Ramakrishna ashram of Haridwar. Dr. Sanjaya was also a strange fellow. Both he and his wife were MEDs and could have been earning millions, but instead they chose to surrender their lives to serve the Ramakrishna mission. Dr. Sanjaya had immense reverence for Suvadra Mata. He had brought her to Kathmandu at her request so she could visit Pashupatinath temple. When I asked her to come and stay at Osho Tapoban, our ashram at Kathmandu, she agreed and stayed with us for a few days. During this stay, she shared a few stories from her life in the Himalayas. To take her daily bath, Suvadra Mata had to climb down for 2 hours to reach Gomukh. There she would break the ice to collect some water from the Ganga. After that, she would climb up to her cave and perform the daily chants and meditation, and then she cooked her food. This is how her days passed. Whether she would live to see the light of the next day was for God to decide. While traveling to the area, if someone became ill or has their path impeded, they are at the mercy of God. The arrangements for the winter months have to be made by the end of August. The biggest challenge there, according to Suvadra Mata, was to keep the matches dry and functioning. If the matchsticks became soggy, there was no way to make a fire or cook food. So one had to resort to either eating raw rice or to sleep hungry. To keep the matchboxes dry, they were kept near the fire and later wrapped carefully in a piece of dry cloth and placed inside a sack of rice. The bigger danger was the lack of oxygen in caves. The snowfall would usually cover the mouth of the caves in the night. As the oxygen depleted inside a cave, one would be awakened abruptly in the middle of the night and have to break the wall of ice. One had to be careful not to pull down the ice wall completely, as it helped to keep the cave warmer. The trick was to make just the right-sized hole, and of course there is always the danger of avalanches. It is much harder to live in the Himalayan caves than to write about it. One has to be constantly aware and alert so as not to fall into the death traps that manifest in many different ways. A moment of unawareness and one slips into oblivion. The constant remembrance of death creates a milieu where one can contemplate deeply on the nature of impermanence without much effort. Undaunted by the fear of death, Suvadra Mata continues her meditation in the Himalayas. I have been deeply touched by her dedication and courage. I am sharing her story with the hope that it will fuel your quest as brightly as it has fueled mine. I haven't known a greater joy than to inspire others to walk the path of truth. I thank Suvadra Mata for keeping the torch of inspiration aflame.